it going, everybody? This is the Stimulus Check Hub here to give you your daily stimulus check and unemployment benefits updates and latest information. If you are new to the channel, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below. A like and a comment are always appreciated. Also, if you wouldn't mind sharing this with your friends and family, because I'm sure they would also like the most up-to-date information on their stimulus checks and unemployment benefits available anywhere on YouTube, which is what I try to provide here on this channel.
Continuing on with the devastating news that happened over this weekend, Kentucky governor said that more than 80 people are presumed dead and the entire towns they have had completely flattened. Now yes guys, this tragic devastation that happened on Friday night is continuing its efforts to have the cleanup as well as find more people under the rubbish that happened from these killer tornadoes. But the governor of Kentucky said that more than 80 people are presumed dead in Kentucky after the deadly tornadoes tore through the state on Friday. Now this is the deadliest tornado event that they've ever had in the state, and that these tornadoes hit at a night when people tend to have more difficulty receiving warnings, such as late in the wee hours when people are actually sleeping. And the governor said that we have entire towns being flattened. He said that there's not a camera lens big enough to show the path of absolute destruction. And he continued, people have lost everything. So I will encourage you guys to help in any way possible that you can to the people living in these 6 states that have been in the path of these deadly tornadoes that happened Friday night. I hope you guys continue to keep those people in your prayers at this time. Now, moving on, President Biden continues to have his job approval ratings continue to go lower and lower and lower, especially after this past Friday when the inflation numbers came out, hitting a record high in the past 39 years. Yes, the inflation rate, I believe, is around 6.8% in November, hitting a record that we haven't seen since 1982. But yes, guys, President Biden, his job approval rating continues to face skepticism from the American public, with his job approval rating lagging across a range of major issues, including new lows for his handling of the crime, gun violence, and the economic recovery in the United States. As the White House confronts rising and widespread concerns about the inflation, Americans are especially negative on how the Biden administration is managing these issues. Now, more than 2/3 of Americans disapprove of how Biden is handling inflation, and only 28% approve of the way he's handling inflation, while more than half, 57%, disapprove of his handling of the economic recovery. Now, partisan splits for inflation show expected negativity in Republican views, which is about 94% disapproving of his way of handling it. But the survey also reveals that weakness from Biden's own party, with only a slim majority of Democrats approving of him. And Biden's orbit is also hemorrhaging independent voters, with 71% disapproving of his handling of the inflation. So yes, guys, these low job assessments in areas of high public concerns have led to a new low in the Biden's approval rating, measured by 538, and his rating comes in at 43%. So yes, guys, as he continues to fight the struggles in this country right now, especially recovering from this pandemic, his job ratings continue to slump over the months and months ahead. So will he be able to recover? I don't know, guys. This is pretty low right now, and it doesn't look like things are really getting much better fast enough for the Biden administration. But I'm sure he will continue to fight this, and he hopes that he can actually pass that social spending plan, because he knows that if he can be able to pass that bill before the end of this year, then his ratings will surely be able to go up just a little bit. And then hopefully, if he is able to approve of another 4th stimulus check, then we will obviously see his ratings go up even higher. But that is still on the fence right now, guys. Now, we do have some good news out in regards to the COVID-19, and it's being the vaccinations going to children. We have right here that doctors see no side effects from the vaccines in children. Now, a Birmingham, Alabama's vaccination rates lag when it comes to children ages 5 to 11 years old, with state data showing only about 6%. But doctors with the Children's of Alabama said that they see children coming in with flu-like symptoms such as fever and dehydration, but they said it's because there's a lot of different respiratory viruses going around right now, not just COVID-19. But the Children's Emergency Room fellow Dr. Alicia Webb said that they are not seeing a significant number of children with COVID-19 coming into the hospital at this time, but could increase after the holidays. She said that many of their parents have already been vaccinated against the virus. Webb also said that they haven't seen many kids come in with negative side effects after getting the vaccine shots. There have been some reports of myocarditis, which is an inflammation of irritation of the heart after the vaccine, she said, but there's actually a higher chance of that condition after the virus itself. So we still see that the vaccine is very safe and certainly much safer than getting the actual COVID virus. Dr. Karen Landers of the Department of Health said that the Delta variant is still the dominant species here in Alabama, but about 15% of cases in the states are in children under the age of 17 years old. She said that she is concerned about the new Omicron variant and encourages you to vaccinate your children before there is a potential rise in the Omicron variant as well as the Delta variant. So yeah, guys, this is some positive news coming out, especially for people and parents with children, whether they are on the fence of getting their children vaccinated. I know me and my wife continue to have the debate on whether we are going to participate in vaccinating our children who are at the ages of 11 and 3 years old right now. So seeing this news right here in Alabama is definitely some positive news. But we also have some news in regards to some GOP senators are calling for the Biden administration to recognize natural immunity. Now, what this is that Senator Roger Marshall called on the Centers of Disease Control and Prevention, which is the CDC, and the Biden administration. They called on them on Sunday to recognize the natural immunity when combating the COVID-19 pandemic. Now, appearing on NBC's Meet the Press, Marshall, a physician, voiced his support for the ongoing coronavirus immunizations, but appeared to also argue that not everyone needs a booster shot. He said protection offered by natural immunity from having contracted COVID-19 should also be taken into consideration. Now, if the CDC could have pivoted sooner, we would all have saved thousands of lives. I think being honest with people, the CDC needs to acknowledge natural immunity, said Marshall. He said, look, as a physician, I was never able to talk about anything in stopping smoking by a mandate or by trying to argue with them. It was by being honest and communication with them. 92% of Americans have some level of immunity to this virus based upon the CDC's website. So let's start there, he said. And really, the messaging coming out of the White House has to acknowledge natural immunity and to be honest with America. Noting Marshall's repeated calls for natural immunity to be acknowledged, the host Chuck Todd asked if Marshall would recommend people get the virus instead of the vaccine. He said, of course not. He would never recommend people actually get the virus instead of getting vaccinated. But if you've already had the virus, that needs to be acknowledged and then a decision made with the patient and the doctor deciding if they should get the booster shot or not. He said maybe even check their level of antibodies. Take that into account as well, what their healthcare situation is. But some anti-vaccine groups have argued that having natural immunity from prior infection should preclude people from having to get COVID-19 vaccination. However, health experts have repeatedly stated that people who have recovered from COVID-19 will still benefit from getting vaccinated. But yes, guys, this thing right here is really still up in the air. And I believe the CDC expert, which is Anthony Fauci, he has already stated that people that have already gotten COVID-19 virus in the past are still susceptible to getting it at least 17 more times. But according to this doctor in this article, he says that those people that have already had the virus should be recognized as having natural immunity. So what is the ending result going to be? Well, we just don't know yet. But if you're going to listen to science and listen to the people that are running the CDC, then you are going to be listening to Anthony Fauci, which says that you still should get the vaccinations. But if you want to listen to other things outside of that, then you want to listen to this particular doctor or other people out there on the internet that state that if you've already had the virus, then you are more protected than others who have only gotten the vaccinations. But I will leave that decision up to you and your doctors and the people you listen to. But on to some stimulus update news. Hey, we do have some new news coming out saying that $400 refund checks are coming to millions of people or drivers. And they stated that this is how you can get it for your car insurance stimulus check. This article right here says that while you might never see another stimulus check from Washington, D.C., drivers across the country are still getting cash in the mail from their insurers. Car insurance companies have been squeezed for more money ever since last year when they made huge profits and offered only modest discounts and rebates in return. Now a new wave of $400 refund checks is coming to some drivers after a group of insurers were accused of hoarding billions of dollars in surplus cash. Yes, if you feel like you've been paying too much money for your coverage or your car insurance coverage, here's how to get your own stimulus check from your insurance company, or at least get back a break of discounts from your insurance policies. Yes, guys, this is the latest round of refunds incoming to drivers in Michigan who are getting $400 back for each vehicle that they own. That's a lot of money. So if you own 2 vehicles, that's $800, and 3 vehicles, that is $1,200 back. Yes, guys, billions in surplus funds should not be held by insurers to invest for their own profits or to be conditioned on renewals of new policies. The Governor Gretchen Whitmer wrote in a letter last month. Whitmer had accused the Michigan Catastrophic Claims Association, which charges drivers an annual fee to be covered the cost of personal injury claims, of holding on to a $5 billion more than necessary. Now, this insurance companies that make up the association quickly agreed to part with roughly $3 billion of their surplus, and the money will be freed up in early March and distributed to policyholders within 60 days. Now, while the refund is welcome relief, it's only a one-time deal, meaning that drivers in Michigan and across the country will need to look elsewhere for significant lasting savings from their insurance policies. Now, I will say that insurance providers voluntarily gave out more than $14 billion in refunds last year, and the American Property Casualty Insurance Association says, but many critics aren't satisfied. And on behalf of consumers, I am out of patience. California Insurance Commissioner Ricardo Lara wrote in October, giving 3 of the stingier companies 30 days to tell us once and for all how they are going to make it right with the insurers that are paying these high insurance prices for their car insurance. A state analysis found that insurers returned on average of 9% of auto premiums from March to September of 2020, but the insurance department estimates that they should have refunded nearly double that amount. And Washington and New Mexico are also assessing whether their drivers got enough money back as well. And Massachusetts Attorney General Maura Healey has sent several pointer letters to the state's insurance regulator. The conflict has even ended up in the court systems, with class action lawsuits filed this year in Nevada as well as Illinois. So yes, guys, I don't know what states you guys actually live in, but you might want to Google and research a little bit to find out if the insurance companies in your state are giving back refund checks in relation to the money that you have been spending on your car insurance for the year of 2020 as well as this year in 2021. Because let's face it, as this pandemic has lasted for more than 21 months, most of you guys have not really been driving anywhere. So you really haven't really been using your car insurance these particular 21 months as this pandemic has been lingering on. So as we can see in this article, car insurance companies are now being forced to give back some of that money in refund checks to the people that it insures every month of the year for the last 21 months or so. And then also, guys, we do have some more $600 stimulus checks that are being given out to farm and food workers in relation to a relief grant that was proposed. Now, it says right here that eligible Americans can get a stimulus payment worth up to $600 as part of the $700 million farm and food worker relief grant program. Now, these particular funds are given to state agencies, tribal entities, and nonprofit organizations that provide helpful services to farm workers or meat packing workers, according to the USDA. Now, the deadline for states and organizations to fill out their application is 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on February the 8th of 2022, and it must be submitted through the website www.grants.gov. Now, these $600 stimulus checks to cover expenses and COVID costs are part of the Farm and Food Workers Program announced by the U.S. Department of Agriculture earlier in November. The department set aside a whopping $700 million in grant funding for this particular program. And of that, $680 million is earmarked for the farm and meat packing workers. And the remaining $20 million is for growth.
Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to hit that subscribe button down below. Like and a comment are always appreciated. Also, if you wouldn't mind sharing this with your friends and family, because I'm sure they would also like the most up-to-date information on their stimulus checks and unemployment benefits available anywhere on YouTube. Have a good one.